Quantum has an opera in it. There's like an opera scene where there's like a chase behind the opera.
Yes.
I don't remember which one it is though.
Is that all about the water and of
the oil? The oil. Yeah. It's there. They go into like a well system. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm infinitely terrible at when operas show up in movies. I like don't know at all what operas are about ever. So I look it up just to see because I know that they pick specific ones for meaning, and I look and I go, "That's cool," and then I forget. So.
All right. Well, are we ready to do this? Because we're live listening to.
Because we're already doing it.
Yeah, we're just listening to you talk about how terrible you are at operas.
It's gonna be like that.
All right. Well, then let's do it. Today we are interviewing Mr. Mosser. Hear all about the life and times of your music career. So thank you for being with us today. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah. My pleasure. I was hard to get my schedule cleared, but I have about an hour.
Was that show called This Is Your Life? Like, do you know what I'm talking about in terms of?
Yes.
Is that what it was called? I don't think anyone else other than us would understand. Marissa's probably not even old enough to understand that reference, but like, I forget.
It was. You think I am?
Too easy. I won't answer. I just remember it from sitcoms where they like spoof it. But
yes, I remember the real thing, and it was just like I would get emotional because I think, oh, maybe someday, bring them on, bring on the guests.
Well, we didn't full-blown schedule guests, so we brought 2 of your coworkers that see you fairly frequently.
And they're what means the most.
So,
who are they? Oh,
This is going well.
Yeah, this is great. So I think, like, from the outside in, one of my favorite, and I know that you're doing it to an extent still with your crew, but one of my favorite traditions to invade in the choir room and supplant myself in, even though I'm not necessarily a part of it, is your senior wisdom days and things like that. And I think that you have these really cool like passing wisdom on from seniors because of everything they went through, and then like you giving senior stuff as well before they leave. So this is our odd approximation of This Is Our Life and our senior wisdom thing. So we figured it would be nice to, rather than have someone else on, we would pick your brain and leave them with helpful tidbits and stuff. And then we can actually, as we go, we'll pay a little closer attention to the chat, because I think if the kids have anything to ask now, this will definitely be the ones that they'll be most comfy asking and stuff like that. So why don't we start off? Sorry, I had a guest. Why don't we start off as we have with the other ones? Why don't you give us just a little bit of a rundown, like from the first note you ever sang until today?
All right. So my background is both my dad and my mom sing, and my mom was in a choir. My dad was in quartets, and both of my grandfathers were pastors, and the one had a broadcast that he would do every Friday night. So I would go with them, and my grandmother played the organ, and my other grandmother played the piano, and she's the one that taught me basically how to start playing the piano when I was 4 or 5. She actually drew numbers on the keys, which you should never do, by the way. And so then that was my start with that. But I remember singing from the beginning, and actually being able to sing harmony. There's a lot of people that can't sing harmony. They have to sing the melody. But for me, it was just so natural to just sing a harmony part. So when it came time to elementary concerts, the music teacher would give me an opportunity to sing a duet with somebody, because, man, I could hit the harmonies.
When you did the harmonies, did you do it like Ooh. Did you just do it like on your own, or
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. In fact,
like with your parents?
yeah, sure, sure. And even that even happens today when we're all together as a family. We'll sing happy birthday, and it's like if we ever do it out in the public, it's like, whoa, this is awesome because it's like 4-part harmony. Yeah, it's really special times as long as we're getting along.
From college on, I think music school happy birthday has a different
Yeah.
It changes. It sounds so dumb to say that, but it changes in college on, because once you're around music people,
Right.
there's
Exactly.
automatically harmonies all over the place.
Right. Yeah. So I've sung from the beginning of time. And then piano, I started when I was 8. And that was awesome. That was a great ground. Now I never played instruments until I got to college, other than keyboards. But yeah.
Did you have to learn them all in college?
I did. So is it the same way for you guys? You had to learn everyone?
I think it was like 6 or 7 weeks, something like that on each one.
Yeah. So my favorite one, believe it or not, was the bassoon. I'm sorry.
It's not a viola, so you're fine.
No, the strings were okay. I did okay with them. The one I could not get was the embouchure of the flute. I could not get that air to go where it was supposed to, no matter what. And then they said, well, maybe you should shave off your beard. And it's like, no, I'll just play badly. And then
that was hard for a while.
So I think my second year in college, I played in the wind ensemble because you had to, and I played percussion. But I was a piano player, so I didn't count. Sorry, piano players, but you have a tendency not to count because you're filling all the little time with extra notes, so you don't really have to. That sounds stupid. But then by the third year, I was playing tuba. Yeah, but I don't know why I was playing tuba because I don't have the full lips. Mine are more.
It surprises me that would have been the one that you grasped on, because I mean the facial hair thing with the flute, like the tuba, I think the more you put in, that the hair gets in the way more and more.
Yeah, I don't think I really had I don't think I had an option. I think that was the one that needed to be filled. Yeah.
I mean, it probably helps in terms of from a choral perspective, being able to just like recognize and grab onto the bass lines. Yeah. It's probably
but beneficial. So I student taught. I did 6 weeks middle school vocal music, and then 3 elementary vocal music, and then 3 middle school instrumental. But boy, what a life lesson! I mean, it was a great experience, and this I found that there were a lot of similarities. I feel like I gained more from my instrumental methods teacher than I did my vocal teacher, which sounds strange, but like breath support, cutting off of phrases. It's very, very similar in many ways.
Why do you feel like that was, that you got more out of your instrumental teachers than your vocal?
Well, I think competency maybe. And also we connected to this guy, and that's huge in education. The instrumental guy was, I don't know, he was very down to earth, very smart, and did he have high standards, but that didn't bother us because we knew what we were getting.
Did you have any adjuncts that came? Because to me, I loved a lot of my professors, but when we had methods classes and things like that, because there was the instrumental, there was the band, the string, and the vocal person on the staff, they would bring in other people to teach the smaller courses. Right. And I loved having those classes because, not that there was anything wrong with our professors, but these were the ones that like they left their day job doing what they were teaching us. And I just felt there was such a better source of information for like an aspiring teacher in that way.
Right. No, we didn't. My piano professor was full-time. She taught piano pedagogy and other classes. So yeah, so she was, I never had an adjunct. I know there were string ones at the time, but no.
Riley asked a good question, and there's actually, this was part of it too. She said, did you find it hard to learn so many new instruments in college? And I guess I never really thought of, because for like from Marissa's perspective, strings, there's certain key components that carry over through all of them, and woodwind wise, like clarinet and saxophone are so similar, and then flute, there's similarities. So only having done piano, was it overwhelming to look at all of them?
Well, so they broke it down a semester. Like first semester was strings, and I think then they went to woodwind or maybe brass or one of those. So you were concentrated on the same techniques for the same semester. But no, I could teach them, but I would have really had to hone my skills to do it as a career. You know what I mean? There's no way. Yeah, I would never be able to know how to fix a bridge, or I don't know. I don't know what other parts there are. The frog.
Did you ever have to teach instrumentally at all?
In my career?
Mm-hmm.
No, just student teaching. And thank the good Lord.
It's kind of, my first job was, and I'm sure in retrospect, I could have done 1,000 things better. My first job was doing strings, and
watch yourself.
It was middle school strings, and I had a quintet that was like, they were just kind of like far and beyond. They were cruising through. So I had them in a separate lesson, and 4 of the 5 of them had legitimate perfect pitch. And it was the most difficult teaching I've had to do, because 100% I was not even in the top 3 of the most capable in that room string wise. So it was very interesting to do. Like, I don't know if I could have said this would be it forever, but it was, I'm glad I did it early than later, I think.
Yeah. I guess I should go back to my beginnings. I never really quite I jumped from 3rd grade to college, but that's
bright kid.
Yeah. So I have to say that my music teachers that I had at Penn Ridge, for those of you who didn't know, I actually went through Penn Ridge. They were inspirational, and what was really cool is they saw something in me, and then they fostered it. For instance, like I said, the elementary teacher, she gave me solos and duets. When I got to middle school, I was much better at the piano than I was in elementary, and so I accompanied the middle school choir. And so, I mean, that's life-changing to be asked to do that. And I think sometimes we forget that just asking the kids to do something little like that, well, that's kind of big, but doing like that can just make a difference in their lives. So then I couldn't wait to get to high school. And choir was just 90 kids, and you had to audition. And if you didn't make it, there was no other options for you. That's what it was. But I did all the things. I did counties, I did districts and regions. I did the musicals. I was the choir president. I was everything that I was supposed to be and more.
What was your crowning musical role in high school?
It was actually, there was a show called George M. about George M. Cohan. So I was George M. and had to learn to tap dance for it, and which was pretty amazing. What's really amazing is it was all done in Miss G's room. And at that point there was fly space. I mean, that technically that stage was a zillion times better than, I gotta be careful, I'll say, what we have now. They skimped. I mean, there was fly space. It was just so much better. Now the acoustics in the auditorium were lousy, but it was much more intimate. And yeah, so I mean, I had great experiences. I never took music theory in high school. I started out thinking that I was going to be an architect. So I was taking Architect 1 and Architecture 2, and I did fit in music listening. That was a half-year course, but I never had music theory, which I should have had going to college. But I had enough background with my piano studies that I did okay.
That I think that kind of answers. A handful of people were asking, what job would you have chosen, or what career path would you have taken if you weren't going to be a choir director? Would you say architect, do you think, or
no? But
is that more of a hobby?
That would be something more in the long of now, something in the long of arts, design, something creative. Yeah.
Abby Rose wants to know if you can still tap dance.
Abby wants to know.
Yes.
See the bottom half of me is shorts.
This is where we're gonna break him.
I don't have, all I have is these, so they're not tapped. So Abby, buddy, Abby sister, someday I'll show you.
Maybe we'll arrange like a major tap number or something, and we'll bring back a guest.
Is that a yes? Is that what I'm gathering?
I could do a little, just a little. But you know what? Talk about, I spent hours and hours in my basement with my tap shoes learning that thing.
Man.
We could do Anything Goes and have you be
Reno Sweeney. I could be the
Sutton.
Sutton Foster.
Perfect. Mm-hmm. We could change the outfit. It wouldn't be awful, but
I don't know. I think that would work too.
Retirement. Let's see if anyone looks it up, and then we'll figure out where it goes from there.
Yeah, you're right. Justin Lamphere, if he's watching, he knows exactly what show
he'll have the picture there.
Yeah.
So, and not to turn it to, Abby said she can't wait to see your tap dancing, by the way. Not that to turn it too much towards like the lessons or things like that, but when you played piano and you accompanied and things like that, clearly your music reading skill was there and far along. How much does that help you choir wise?
Oh, wow.
Because I think it's like I think that me as a band person, I think that choir kids quite often get a rap for not necessarily being able to read terribly, but I don't think that instrumentalists really understand how complicated it looks sometimes, because all of your parts are there all together. And I do think that if I would have known I was going into music, if I would have spent any more time on piano, I think I would have been infinitely more prepared with 90% of what we do.
Yeah. Marissa, can you play?
I took 4 semesters, so my answer should be yes, but it's a solid no for me.
Yeah.
I mean, like I can do basic stuff, but I mean, in piano class, they were just pushing you towards your proficiency.
Right.
So they weren't really focused on making you a concert pianist as a music ed person. They wanted you to be able to like do skipping music for pre-K classes, and I'm going to pick 2 lines of the choir score, sight read that. Like it was stuff like that, which I can do, but to like just sit down and play the piano.
Right.
I wish.
Yeah, you know that I've had some really, like for instance, having Brett, I would not have to play the piano or know how. But you don't always have a Brett. Ashley, those kids, I wouldn't have to know how to play, but it's not going to always be there. So you really need to be able to play.
Did you have to do proficiencies? when you were in college?
Yeah, and it was ridiculous. They wanted to make sure that we could play the Star Spangled Banner by memory and America the Beautiful, because we were going to be invited to gatherings where we would have to play it because people sing it. And I'm thinking, what? Well, now no, nobody does. That doesn't even happen anymore. But every Kiwanis club, every time, they'd expect us to do it by memory. It's like, well, you know what? Maybe I don't want it to be 4-part. But
was it like a full-blown like 4-part choral thing that you had to play for the Star Spangled Banner?
Yeah. Basically.
And did you like mine? Everyone told stories all the time where it's like you got 2 chances at your proficiencies, and it was in your junior year, and if you didn't pass them, then you were done. Like, was it that for you?
Yeah, it was like that, and I think the biggest problem with the piano majors is we didn't take it seriously because we thought, how hard is this? But these teachers were like they wanted it exact. And it's like, whatever. Well, it just goes against everything I believe. But
I remember we had to sing, so we had to do that. But while we did we had to do 3 patriotic songs. We had like a packet we could pick. So I think mine were, you had to do the Star Spangled Banner, you could pick 2. And I think I did America the Beautiful and Battle Hymn of the Republic. But you also had to be able to sing the melody in solfege. So
while you're playing?
Yeah. So we did it. And it's one of those things that you cram for the test, and the moment it finishes, the moment you get the letter that you passed, it left me. Like, it was gone.
Yep.
And that was junior year, and we were in like a senior seminar, and it was like the whole ed staff. And for some odd reason, the one teacher said, I don't know why they picked us, but they picked me and my friend Alex. And they said, come on down, and like, Kevin, sit at the piano, and we're going to do like a mock choral audition. And they said, what was one of your patriotic songs? And I said, Battle Hymn. And they said, Alex, did you do Battle Hymn? And he said, yes. And he goes, good. So Alex, you're going to sing at solfege. Kevin, you're going to play it at the piano. And then we'll do like a mock one. And we both looked at each other so horrified. And we did like 8 bars. And the teacher went, all right, that's enough. So what would you tell? And we went through. And after it, we got to a break. And he looked at me and he said, how did you do that? And I said, I don't know. How did you do that? And he goes, I have no idea. That was the scariest thing we've done since we've been here. And we both it was horrifying. To this day, it still scares me, that moment.
Wow.
Do you have any scary moments, Marissa?
Not like that. No, I have, it's fairly ironic, I think, but I have like pretty bad performance anxiety. So I did a thesis recital that went with my honors thesis, and I did that, and I sucked it up because I felt it was important to pair the words with the music to kind of bring it to life. But other than that, if I ever had the option, other than, I love playing with orchestras, I love playing with quartets, but in terms of being forced to perform, no.
Yeah.
So that's a good, for you, Steve, who's someone who's so, I think of the 3 of us, you're probably the most comfortable on stage.
Yeah.
I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, very true.
Do you have any of those? Because I think most of my nerve-wracking moments would revolve around performances of some kind. What are your
Well, my senior recital, I was doing a Bach fugue. And, for those who don't know what a fugue is, it's 4 separate voice parts playing different things at the different times. And in the middle of it, I went blank and I started playing block chords. Like C, C, G7. It was probably an E flat, but I just did that. And I kept thinking, oh my gosh, I gotta, where am I? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And all of a sudden I get this idea, start over. Da, 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 da. And, it's those kind of things that, I should have nightmares. My senior year, Brett's doing one of these. It's the Gershwin, the Preludes. And the very last thing is this E flat roll that goes and it ends on a high E flat. Didn't I hit a D? It was just like, what do you do? So I go, get up and take my bow. Oh, but you know, it's amazing what your body can do, because once you get into recital mode, and I had to do everything by memory, it becomes all muscle memory. It's amazing.
When I perform, I fully black out. Like
Yeah.
people ask me like, how'd you do? Like, what did you think? What was it like? And my answer always is, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never remember.
I find myself making the most mistakes when I don't hit that like blackout in the zone point.
Right.
Where when you're playing something really hard or right before it, you go, I have to focus. And as you're halfway through the part, if you have that moment where you go, wow, this is going pretty well, that's the moment that it all falls apart.
Yeah, get cocky for 1 second and you're done.
Yep.
I had I was invited my junior year to it was like a Rotary camp, and they picked 2 guys from each school that went there in the summer. And so first of all, it's just awkward because you don't know anybody. And as outgoing as I am now, I was not. So they had a jazz band and they needed a piano player. Great. Well, I didn't understand at that point. I was not exposed to jazz chords and jazz cymbals, and I didn't really have music theory. So there I was. The last night they had a concert and I'm playing along, and I'm just hoping and praying, because I had no clue. And to this day, I would be ashamed to even look at those people in the face. I mean, half of them are probably dead, but well, maybe not. But in wheelchairs, but oh my word, talk about embarrassing. But you know what? You can't. It's one of those things where you just can't let anybody know. The show went on. Yeah. Other embarrassing things. I had one time, we were doing a choir piece, and it was "Hush, Someone's Calling My Name." It's a spiritual, and verse 2 says, "Soon death comes knocking at your door." And as soon as we sing that the first time, this 250-pound bass in the back row passes out and goes boom, 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 and takes out a bunch of sopranos, right? So we stop the song, and I think he's seriously hurt. And I turn around to the audience and I say, "Is there a nurse in the audience?" And they clap and laugh because they think it's a joke. Awkward. Yeah, that's the kind of thing. So I guess they kind of expected me to do stupid things like that. But yeah, that was awkward. I was summer theater director at Penn Ridge, in the down in the area where the audience is, and had a massive heart attack and died.
Jeez.
That's another awkward moment. And he was actually the grandfather of some of the kids that were in band. Woodridge. Anyway, you might have had him, Kevin. But yeah, so I've had some great moments in my career.
There's definitely, like, I mean, by the time you get to the end of a career, there's stories that you can't make some things up that have happened, for sure.
I've gotten stitches because of
my
school.
gosh.
I broke a rib. Yeah, good times.
I'm not far into my career, but I haven't had anything like that yet. And now that I've said it, it's come in full force. But like,
I do have to say, I remember because I've gone on trips and things like that, but my first year at the high school, we went to Disney, and that was when it was just band that went, and that was the first trip I ever had to take people on. And I remember Steve sitting down and saying, like, going down the list of things that have happened, he goes, "You'll get there at some point."
what
Like,
a good dad.
he goes, "It's literally impossible for you to take trips without different things." And he's just like listing,
That's
and
true.
it was totally like it was the dad moment, but it was totally not what you wanted to hear right before you went, because it was terrifying at moments.
When I taught in Florida, I was doing a musical, and one of the girls didn't show up for one of the performances, and I was furious, and I was going to rip her head off, only to find out that she was in a car accident. She lost a finger. She, you know, yeah.
It gives you
And
perspective.
It does. We did a show at Penn Ridge, and there was a flood, and one of my leads called me from his phone. He and his mom were getting rescued from the Branch Creek because they tried to cross it.
Wow, you really can't make that up.
You can't make this stuff up. No, it's been a great ride. I need to write a book. I do, but I want to put names in, and that would be bad. That would be the end.
So, and this might, not trying to direct towards an answer, but this might be, this is kind of along the same path. Devin wrote a question in here and asked, when you're teaching music, or like while you've been a high school choir director, do you ever find yourself like losing passion for music because it's your job, or how do you redirect when you have those moments of losing?
Yeah, that's a good question, Devin. Well, that was just like the other people that we've had on. Good question. Yeah. So Devin, I probably don't go home and listen to music. People would probably think, they would see my life out of school and go, he's a music teacher, because I'm just so inundated with it at school, and I do love it.
As he has a cello lamp in the background.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, but yeah, it's like, yeah, if you don't have an absolute passion for kids and for music, don't do it. Do something where it's an avocation, where you do your job, and you come home and you just rock out.
I was going to say, like yesterday, for me anyway, when we were doing the graduation filming, like it was so good to be there with everybody, and we were making music and like being in the same room after all this time. Like,
right.
That was what I needed after this 2.5 months of not.
Yeah, that was very interesting, because there was definitely, you could feel the excitement even when they were separated. But there was an energy there.
Yeah.
That you may not even have in other disciplines. I think we sing, we play with our souls, and we connect with everybody that's singing and playing at the same time. That when you guys played that Pomp and Circumstance, I was amazed. I thought, so good.
I left.
Am I breaking up?
I think you did for a second. We heard something about souls.
Okay,
singing with your souls.
Yeah, so or playing, where I believe that, it's a connection, and yeah, it's a connection that you don't have anywhere else. I mean, where else are you creating something? In art, you're creating, but it's individual. I mean, we're creating together. We're bonding.
So Delaney has a two-part question here, and I think something that you pointed out here can kind of go along with it. Do you have, so her initial question was, what's your favorite song that one of your choirs has performed? Do you, like, before you answer that one, how do you measure your favorite songs that you've performed? Because do you almost rate it, or do you weigh them in terms of that emotional buy-in that they have, or do you have ones that are they're just fun to do, and that's why they hold that?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many categories. Well, I really think that that we would have created a huge moment musically if we got to perform. I think it was where your feet walk, whatever. It was in the spring concert. It's supposed to be in the spring concert, And I thought this is the most lovely piece. I mean, I love the Whitakers. They're awesome. Yeah, I usually judge by um, the response of the singers. And you know as well as I do, you guys, that you can have this idea of this song is going to be great, and you present it, and it's like, and it's nothing to do with the song. It may be it's just not right for the group, you know.
Right.
Delaney, one of the ones that I absolutely loved, and I don't know, I can't remember if you guys were 10th grade, but I got a key, and we did it at Hershey 2 years ago. Yeah, she would have been in it, but that was one of my favorites.
Her
But yeah,
second part of the question was, what was your favorite one from the last 4 years? So that's good.
last four, it would probably be that one. But I have to say, since she's listening, that this group is up there with the top 5 of talented groups that I've had in 37 years. I had a really incredible one when I taught in Florida. And then I had a couple really incredible ones at Southern Lehigh. And a lot of them are professional singers now. And then I had one about 8 or 9, 10 years ago. And now this one, last year and this one. And this year, I was really, every year you think, oh, how can it be any better than the year before? But this one produced some awesome stuff. I'm just sorry we didn't get to do all of it.
Do you, so this is kind of going off the same idea. Do you, when you think about like pieces that have been meaningful to you, or like that you've had those emotional reactions to or something like that,
Yeah.
do you see it differently from when you're performing it and when you're conducting it?
Did a kid ask that question? Because that is such a cool question.
So
I made that one up myself. Thank you.
That was good, Kev. Good job.
Thank you.
What do you mean?
So like, yeah, I guess it's not that good of a question, Marissa.
It's good for her. She gets
I take
you.
it back.
Yeah. No, so
No,
so what's the first, I guess, let me ask you a different way. Like, what's the first song that you had like an emotional reaction to? Or do you remember like really clicking with?
First, you mean in life?
Yeah, and I guess more like a performance one, because I think we talked like way back when, like one of the first ones, we talked about kind of different pieces or songs that like we connected with listening to, but there's a difference like when you're performing it and when you're making it.
So I think for me, it's a French piece, Cantique de Racine. I think that's what it's called. That was a game changer for me. Yeah. Conducting wise, actually, one of the pieces I absolutely love is the Wedding Cantata by Daniel Pinkham. So I like contemporary choral music. There's just something about the harmonies that just float my boat. Yeah.
So like if you would take one of those contemporary pieces and perform it with a choir, do you get that like that satisfaction out of it? Or is it sometimes like that lightning in the bottle thing where it's the right piece with the right group and one kind of sneaks up on you?
Yes. I've had that. And funny, I've even had that. You would think that I would have that with the top choirs. I've had those kind of moments with the mixed choir. It's like we're performing this and it's like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. They just, musicality is right there. And it's just like, it's, yeah, that's what I love about that, the whole performance thing. And of course I love being on stage.
I'm trying to scroll through to see what other, Adam Cameron has a good question. He said, and you might not have necessarily thought about this too much, but as you prepare for retirement, will you or how will you continue to be involved musically?
That's a really tough question, because we know that once we get out of this, life's never going to be the same. It's just not. Choral music, who knows what's going to happen? But yes, music is my life. It may not be my
floors in your house tap dance safe?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
I'm going to keep it cement.
That's good.
And I may not be a conductor. I would love to be part of a community choir. There's something great about being the director, but there's something also really great about not being in charge. Let me be in a community theater and give me a part of a 60-year-old man. Tell me what to do. I get the applause. Thank you very much. I just think I feel like I've been in charge way too long.
There is something nice to not have to make decisions. But do you find yourself in those moments, do you find yourself volunteering way faster than you should to do things?
Isn't that what we do?
Yeah, I know. Nolan asked, do you remember when a baby ran or he said, do you remember when a baby ran on stage during one of our concerts?
Yes, I do remember that. That's another one of those great moments. And the thing was, I just kept going, because I didn't know why. I didn't think the song was that humorous that people were actually laughing. But yeah, I've had that happen. Good times. I had one time, this was about 20 years ago, at Penn Ridge. A girl was not happy with, I don't know, she didn't like me. So she made a bet with her dad that in the middle of the concert, she would scream out. And she did. And I thought somebody sneezed. I found out later, the kids were telling me that, yeah, she made a bet. So she got removed. Wow. I don't mean like dead, but she was no longer seen.
I'm not laughing at the story. I'm laughing that as you told us, you got closer and closer to the camera, like you were telling the whole internet a secret.
Okay.
Abby has like awesome questions all over this.
You know what? That's because Abby is going to be a music teacher. She is. There's no question in my mind. Now I'm going to get teary. Thanks.
And you can tell. You're welcome. It's Abby's fault, not mine.
Yeah, thanks, Abby.
So this is I'll read you Abby's question, but then we can tweak it a little bit in terms of it.
I'm better now. Okay.
There you go. So the question she wrote was, did you ever feel out of your depth when applying to colleges for music ed? If so, how did you overcome that feeling? And maybe we can amend that, and rather than out of your depth when applying for colleges, like in career-wise, do you ever find yourself at points, or have you ever found yourself at points feeling out of your depth? And
yes.
How do you deal with that?
Yeah. So for me, there are so many times that I feel like and it's pretty common probably, I just don't feel adequate, or I don't feel like I have the skills that I need to push the kids further. I see things. This is why the three of us, I feel, work so well together, is because we bring something different, each cog of the wheel, whatever.
I thought you were going a different direction with this. I was going to make a joke, so keep going.
No, it's like we work so well together because we each have strengths that each of us can use to better the whole department. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are amazing, and I've told you that, and whatever. But
you're gonna make Kevin awkward in front of everyone.
I can still hit the stop video button. I can vanish and get out of here easy.
Yeah, so I got to tell you that when I did student teaching, Abby, I started out with middle school general music and choir, and the guy threw me into it, my teacher, and I really wasn't really prepared. I didn't know what to expect, and the music supervisor No, the education supervisor came and observed me, and I got a phone call that I was to go to his office back at the campus, and he told me that if it were up to him, I would never be a teacher. And that crushed me. And I look back, it was like, yeah, I probably did some things. I learned what to do after that, but that motivated me. So there's a case where, yeah, I had to overcome that fear then, or that feeling like I'm not competent. And the three of us can attest that when you not audition, when you apply for teaching jobs, you're not going to get the first one. You have to learn how to audition, and you have to learn those skills. And when you don't get that, then you get down and, oh, I'm never going to be a teacher. Why are all my friends having teaching jobs? And here it is August, and I haven't gotten a job yet. And then you get it.
I think that college is like a fascinating, it's such a weird transition music wise, because it's like people are your top 2%, the ones that are going to go on and do something musically, and it's going to be a part of their lives forever. And then those are the people that apply and audition for school. And when you go into school and you think, this is great, I get to do this more, and the door opens and everyone is that 2%. It's weird. It's kind of overwhelming, but in like a cool way.
I loved it, because as soon as you get to college, it's like, oh my gosh, everybody is here to do this, and we all love what we do. And I mean, like I've said before, my lifelong friends are my college friends, and we may not see each other for 10 years, but the minute we pick up the phone or talk, it's like we oh man, we've bonded.
I think it's and this is more of like a band thing, but we used to always say at Duquesne, the two different kinds of people were the people that by their sophomore year realized that everyone was a drum major, and the people that in their sophomore year still tell everyone that they were a drum major. And that's the difference. And I think when everyone realized that everyone came the same way, it was just so much fun it's like lightning in a bottle in that 4 years that you can make that kind of music that you want and do those things. And that's really what makes it exciting to go out and do it.
Yeah. I keep telling the kids in choir also that when they get to college, they're going to make some incredible music. But we at Penn Ridge are making some really incredible music. And I don't think we always realize it, and we take it for granted. But there are schools out there that only have 1,000 kids, and they may only have a choir of 25, or a band of, I don't know, what is it? Well, maybe more, 52, and an orchestra of 1,000, of course, Marissa.
3 violas, though.
1 million violins, but just 3 violas.
Yeah, that's it. Well, isn't the joke, so what's the difference?
The joke is the viola.
I was going to say.
But what's the difference between a violin and a viola?
There's more wood to burn on a viola.
No. I guess what's the difference between a violinist and a violist? What is it? What was it? The violinist's head is bigger. Would that make sense? Because it looks big because the violin's smaller. That was dumb joke. Dumb joke. Take it off of YouTube. We're gonna get in trouble. We're gonna get censored.
We'll clip it.
Sorry, yo, ma.
He plays the cello.
That's an even bigger violin.
Bigger. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
What was so? And it could have been this way when you were in school or things like that. What was it like to do the combined concert last year? Because I think that you had, like, as you're getting ready for your last year, I don't know, because I'm not there yet, maybe next year. When you get to like your point of retirement, like I see it almost musically, it's like a victory lap kind of moment where like you get to do what you like, you love, and things like that. That was not necessarily something that was maybe something that could be thrilling to be asked in your last year of, oh, we're going to do this massive new thing in this new concert. What was that like, though, to have it all together?
I mean, that's incredible. Anytime you combine instrumental and vocal together, and it's just, and I'm so glad that the kids got to experience that, because that is something that is absolutely, that's crucial. That's crucial. I've been looking at old photos that I pulled out of the file cabinet, and I'm looking at all the musicals that we did with a pit. And since I'm retiring, I can say it. We need a pit. We need a pit. We can do a pit without a pit.
Did you ever play in a pit?
I
know you were usually on stage, but
well, I did. No, I played. I did a couple times when I needed a good keyboardist for my shows. You know, a lot of times the director plays the pit. So I did that. My wife played in the pit for me when I did a show. So that's the closest I can get, I guess.
What was your favorite show to direct?
So
because I'm sure your kids know this, but in case they don't, one of the things I like when you talk about when you directed is you would come in and do all of like the set design and building and things. So like you I know it wasn't just you, but you were building it from the ground up.
Yeah, I think my favorite show to do, we did, wow, it's probably been 15 years ago, but it was A Crazy for You. It's all of Embraceable Me, Embraceable You. That was what?
Your favorite, you say?
Yeah. Who was the guy that wrote all that music? Oh, Gershwin. Yeah, it's like a Gershwin that they took all the songs and they put it together, and it's about out west, and it's just a fun show. That one, and one from the early 80s, and I did it at Penn Ridge, and I did it at Southern Lehigh. It was called Me and My Girl, and it was about Cockney person inherits the throne, and so he just doesn't know how to act, and it's just really, I don't know why those. I tend to go for the ones that aren't the traditional ones, and one of the other ones that I did. So the new building was being built, and we were kicked out of the new building and sent down to the old one that's now the parking lot. So I don't know if you guys know that. So where the parking lot is, that was the old high school. So for a year and a half, I had to move down there while they were fixing the rest and putting in the auditorium, and then I moved back up. So I had to pick shows that didn't have a major scenery changes, or we had to be creative. So I did a show called Honk, which was it's a great show. Yeah. I had to win the kids over because they thought, oh, that's juvenile, but it was so fun. And one of the funniest moments was, so the duck and her mother are swimming, so we put them in rollerblades, so it was smooth. But the custodians were really, really kind, and they had decided to wax the floor for us, so the stage looked good. Boom, slid right off. Good moments like that. That's what makes it good. But anyway, yeah.
Do you have, even though you gravitate towards those ones, do you have like a show that you would have loved to either direct or you would have loved to come see at the high school after you had directed?
That's a good question. Boy, I would love if they'd do something rotten. I love a good Black Plague song. Or what was that?
I think there's parts of that show you probably couldn't do.
Probably not. You're right.
But it is, I do. The one actually that I really like from Something Rotten is I think that it might just be called It's a Musical. The one where he sees like the seer or whoever it is.
And all the little songs, the little snippets of shows.
And it's so on the nose. And I love I love the willingness to poke fun.
Yeah. So I love anything that's clever. Yeah.
I
Rodgers
think
and Hammerstein, they're nice, but they're not. Okay. Music's beautiful. Sorry, Marissa.
For what?
I don't know. You have that look.
she's offended. She's a fan of.
Sorry.
And there's a lot of strings in Rodgers and Hammerstein.
I love musicals.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do.
So if I were here next year, then the three of us would be taking the trip to New York to see the show. I would have invited you, but Marissa, I didn't think you did.
I love them.
She plays all the time.
Yeah.
I know, but you play them, but I didn't know you'd want to like. Wow, I'm sorry.
Oh no, I love musicals.
We took Kevin. What did we see? Oh boy, we went
We saw
classy.
SpongeBob. We were supposed to go. I was really bummed that I didn't. The two that you went to, I was supposed to go to both of them. I think with you last year was Wicked, because I've still never seen Wicked, and you saw Waitress, and it was Jeremy Jordan, and that was like, it would have been so cool. But
that's right, because he's your hero. Or Newsies. Yeah, no hero. Sorry.
I got grief in the house today because we wrote on our calendar, we wrote Chris Evans' birthday, so I can't talk about anyone that's my hero other than Captain America today, because his birthday's on our calendar.
Got it.
I liked SpongeBob though. I thought it was clever. I like watching. I think the reason I liked it is because the show is pretty simple and like it is what it is, but it's very clever from a staging and like how
absolutely.
it does stuff. Like the band being on the side and being such an active participant.
Yeah, the guy that tap dances with 6 legs or 4 legs.
The Squidward number. Yeah, it was cool. I thought it was that was the first show I had seen. I've seen almost no Broadway shows because it was just not something we did as a family. I think I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Other than SpongeBob, the last show I saw and the only Broadway show I saw was in 7th grade. I went to see Beauty and the Beast.
Oh wow.
On Broadway, and that was it. That was the only other one I've ever seen. So.
Wow, I would not have guessed that.
You're very knowledgeable on shows, Kevin.
Yeah.
I'll say again, like I've said before, I have no friends. So I look things up and I listen to things and I get to where I am. I can talk about a lot by knowing a little.
At this moment, we're all going to do the Schuyler sisters.
Oh, that would be so
I can't move my head like that.
Can we make Kevin Peggy?
Peggy.
I would 100%
because she doesn't say anything. And Peggy. I feel so bad for her. She gets all the way to Broadway and she says, and Peggy. She doesn't get to sing it.
No, and then in the second act, she's the one that like breaks up or almost breaks up Hamilton's entire marriage. So
right. That was all worth it. Yeah.
So
we're just at about an hour, so
it's done. We're good.
No, I don't think we're done, but we need at least one more good one. But Kevin's gonna pick it.
I gotta pick it?
Yeah. Pick it, or if you have one that you want to ask.
I mean, I think that we should end it the way we have with other guests in terms of, I mean, we still have a week or so of class and you're still going to communicate and things like that. But if you had to, because there's some band and orchestra kids in here that won't get a chance to chat or converse with you on Zoom or in your choir classes, is there any like last little tidbit of wisdom or knowledge you'd like to impart?
So those people that are going to stay, that aren't graduating, especially the instrumentalists, you have, don't listen, Kevin.
Hang on, wait. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so you guys have incredible role models and teachers in Miss G and Mr. Fair. You are in such good hands. You're going to come out and years later, you're going to go, oh, I get it. I remember them saying this. It was wisdom. It was wise. Oh my word. Here I am in college and they're talking about phrasing and we did that. And there's going to be a lot of kids when you get to school that aren't going to have what you have because of those two. So love them and respect them. Don't give them grief. And when you say you're going to be somewhere, you're somewhere. Okay? You go to that Memorial Day parade. You understand?
Never complain about
Okay,
people not going
now-
to Memorial Day parade to you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And for choir kids, we've talked about this already. You know, Miss G and Mr. Fair are there for you, and they have found the best candidate, and you are going to you're going to go places with this person. Okay? Never compare them to me because the mold's broken. You're never going to find anybody like me. It's just, that's how it is. All right. But they're going to have skills that far exceed mine musically, possibly. And you're going to get an even better education. All right. So everybody, I would like you to remember to seek the truth, be true to yourself. It doesn't matter how talented or how gifted you are. If you're not a good person and kind, you're not going to get anywhere, except in the areas where everybody else is a jerk. All right. So you, and like I said, you follow the example of Miss G and Mr. Fair, my children. All right. How was that?
All like tingly.
It's very good. I'm gonna try and screenshot it because I don't know if you're looking at it, but the comments are just all over the place. Thank yous and we'll miss you. And then one decided to put "and Peggy" as a joke to me. So if you had to guess, if one student put a Hamilton joke in to make fun of me, who would it be?
Of you?
No, just in general, a Hamilton joke to come out.
Well, was it Justin?
No,
Justin, no.
we share them.
Not Cantrowitz.
Lacey.
Lacey,
So,
yes.
I got an.
She's a diehard Hamilton person, isn't she?
She is.
Yeah. Good job, Lacey. Love it.
So, but everyone, Riley, Abby, Nolan, I forget who Average Joe is, so I apologize.
Oh, Joe Santorelli. He's one of
Yes.
my violinists. Yep.
Lacey, Sarah, Ellie, everyone saying Ryan. I don't want to miss anyone. I'm just going to keep going. Isabella, Will Calderon, Caroline, everyone just saying thank you for everything. And he's not going anywhere yet. You guys still get some extra time to enjoy, but we thought it would be a missed opportunity to sit down and pick his brain of everything that he has learned. So thank you for allowing us to put you in the hot seat and ask questions to you. So, Marissa, anything else?
No, I can't handle that right now.
Fair enough.
All's
Fair enough.
Fair enough. I hate my.
Had
Did
to
it
be
again.
the one.
I don't want to stop the stream because I want everyone to hear my bad pun. All right, hold on. I'm stopping it. Okay. Bye. Say bye.
Bye.
Thank you.